Hey everyone, Delphi Group here with the weekly market report. Let's just dive right into it. We're going to do something a little different today. We are going to give you guys a look into the Delphi signal here. Okay, we can see that we are here on our Delphi signal. We do have, you can see the list here. I have the chart feature hidden. Just to kind of show you guys what's going on here, because many times what we see on the Delphi signal, if there's a heavy skew one way or another, calls, puts, buys, sells, it can many times lead to future market direction. So what I want to point out here to you guys is, if you look at the bottom here, we have 91 signals. Okay, out of those 91, only 4% are buys, 95% are sells. Okay, so this is not a guarantee. It's not us saying, hey, the markets are going to reverse, but just be mindful of this, because this is over 90% when we see either all buys or all sells leads to the market direction in the short term, okay? And you can see just on this list, all these sell signals are bearish engulfing candles, which are the most bearish candles, okay? We're gonna talk about PPG at the end. We're giving out a bonus play on that. But again, remember this, because if the markets do reverse now in the short term, just remember that we highlighted this on our Delphi signal, okay? And if I even scroll down, you can see, how many sell signals there are, and inverted hammers are shooting stars, and those are very bearish as well. So again, just a quick look into the Delphi signal. We do have also a double top, double bottom feature here for patterns. We are adding more pattern recognition. So anyway, we just wanted to show you guys just the Delphi signal and what it's showing us here. 95% of the signals on here are sells. Okay. All right. So moving on, we have the SPY here. Markets have been kind of, A, B, C, D'ing their way up. Okay. If you ask us, the market feels very much in a frenzy when technicals are being ignored. Markets are just going straight up, and this is not a good environment for technical traders. Okay. You trade off a technical setup. The market ignores it, either up or down, and trading becomes very difficult. But anyway, here we are on the SPY. You can see our target from last week hit here. You can see our targets, have hit in the past a lot. We're over 90% accurate. So our target did hit here on the SPY. It also hit on the Qs. The IWM did not hit. We'll get to that. But what's going on here? We are at a resistance here. It's been blowing through resistance levels. Okay, we have a volume drop today, but the reason I'm going to go lower is because look at the CCI. The CCI is way overbought. It just hinged today. That is not a pivot. A pivot would be lower. And the stochastic is way overbought. Okay, and we have gaps below the market here. There's a gap there. This gap filled. This was our target last week, which filled, but there is another gap down here. Okay. If I look at the weekly chart, we always say, when in doubt, scale it out. Now, I'm not in doubt here, but I want to show something. What's going on the weekly chart? It is only Tuesday, but look what's happening on the volume. Okay, volume going down as the stock going up is bearish. Okay, we have a conflict below. The stochastic has a bearish divergence, the K and the D. The CCI has crossed the zero line. Now we'll need to see at the end of the week if that holds. because then that could mean 2 to 4 more weeks upward momentum. But I do not like that volume going down. And we had last week a spinning top, and right now there's another spinning top at resistance. Okay, but regardless, I am going to go lower on the forecast here on the SPY. I'm going to go down to this next support level here, roughly 575. If we break 575, very high chance that gap will fill, okay, at 567.50. But for now, I'm going to go lower for next week's forecast here on the SPY. I'm just going to go down towards that support level here, okay? So that's the SPY. Qs has a little different look today than the SPY. The candle is a fairly bullish candle on higher volume, okay? But again, the CCI is way overbought, and the stochastic is way overbought. So I'm gonna do something I've done in the past, and nobody really does this, but I'm gonna make a 2-part forecast here on the Qs. Because of the volume in the candle, I'm gonna go just a little higher. I'm not gonna go much. Okay, we may get over that resistance, but then I do think we're gonna pivot back down lower. Okay, I do think we're gonna come back down towards this support level here. Okay, I do think that we're going to get a volume drop. Okay, so we'll watch for a volume drop. And then I do think the CCI will pivot. Okay, lower. So that is 1, 2, 3. That's a 4-part forecast. And we'll see if it happens. Nobody's doing this out there. So that's what I'm looking at on the QQQ. Again, the weekly chart looks very similar to the SPY, okay? All right, IWM, and we did hit our target last week here on the Qs on that gap fill target. The gap did fill, and then we bounced. You remember, 80% of the times when gaps fill, it does reverse, okay? So that target hit as well on the Qs. And going to the IWM, okay, this was the only target that did not hit. I was looking for a drop down to the averages. It did not hit. Okay, but now IWM looks the weakest of the group. We added some puts today. We followed some UOA in the community kind of as a hedge. If you're looking to hedge, this is the index by far that I would be hedging, okay? So just look at the weekly chart here before I come back to the daily. Okay, again, look what's going on here on the weekly. We have a gap up. Okay, that is a hanging man hammer at resistance. Look at all these resistance levels here. Resistance. The 50-week moving average is there. Resistance. Resistance. Okay, so I don't even think we're going to get to these resistance levels. Look at the volume drop. Okay, the CCI is right at the 0 line. I don't think it's going to cross it. Look at that divergence on the stochastic. Okay, so all these things on the weekly chart do not look good for the IWM. So I am going to go lower, and I am going to go lower to fill that gap. Okay, so I'm going to leave this here. We'll have to see if this ever fills. I'm not marking it up as a winner, but I'm just going to leave it there. Okay, but I do think the IWM now is going to come down to fill that gap. Okay, so that's a pretty bigger forecast here. That gap high is 202.28. So I do think we're going to reverse on IWM to fill that gap. Okay, so that's it for the indexes. Let's go to our bonus play PPG off of the Delphi signal. Okay, so yeah, this looks ready to come down to fill this gap here. Okay, if we look at the volume drop here today, CCI pivoting from overbought, stochastic near overbought. We have an open gap here. 80% of the times those fill. We have it far from the moving average. and we have a shooting star yesterday. This was on the Delphi signal yesterday with the shooting star. Okay. Then we have a bearish engulfing candle. Okay. Today with a pivot. Okay. So that's a trifecta bearish setup here on PPG. Okay. So we do think this is going to come down to fill this gap. Okay. Or towards the gap. So we're just going to do that. That would be a bonus play for next week or the week after. But everything on this chart is extremely bearish for a pullback. And there also is a gap here. Okay, don't know if it's going to get that low. We expect the averages to be support, but that gap fill is definitely in play here on PPG. Okay, so that's it from us here at Delphi. Hope you guys enjoyed this weekly market report. And let's see what happens with our forecasts as we check back with you again next week. Have a great Tuesday and a great week. Take care.